I'll tell you what, Genius Network pushes me. I was put in a very uncomfortable situation and it made me realize a lot of things. Hey everyone, Hurricane Liz here. And in this video, I know I've been gone a while, so let me recap. I've been gone. I was over at Mentorbox. If you guys haven't seen the Alex Mayer interview, it's below. I was down at Ty Lopez's house. I then went to Genius Network, which this video is going to be about. I'm going to recap and tell you guys the 5 best things that I took out of the Genius Network meeting. For those of you that don't know, the Genius Network is a network that is $25,000 to join into. And it's pretty cool because it's a bunch of business and thought leaders that are in the actual mastermind. And we sit around, we talk about how to improve the world and how to improve yourself. So I'm going to recap the best things that I learned from Genius Network in a minute. But after Genius Network, I went to New Orleans to Amazon FBA Boost. I learned a lot about Amazon. I'll cover the most exciting things happening in Amazon in another video. But let's go ahead and just jump into what I learned at Genius Network. So first and foremost, I actually wrote it down here. The number one thing that I learned is that if you haven't already been on Medium.com, Medium.com is an awesome platform, particularly if you're a writer and you want to write about things, especially productivity, success, and broad things like that. So if you're not already on Medium.com, it is one of the recommended strategies. My good friend in Genius Network, Benjamin Hardy, is the #1 writer on Medium.com, and he held an entire actual day where he showed us the ins and outs of being on Medium.com. So I actually am about to publish my very first Medium article. I will link it below in the description. And it has to do with World Cup. So you guys might be wondering, what does success in the World Cup have to do? All put together. But you'll see that. I will make sure to link it to you guys so you can read it. Let me know how I did. I'm not the best writer in the world, but I certainly gave it a shot and tried to let you guys have a couple of the insights of what goes on in my head, which it's a lot of fucking strange shit. So I apologize to you guys in advance. And guess what? I didn't curse in there. So the people that have asked me not to curse, I made sure I listened to you in writing. However, in this video, I'm sorry, but I just talk like that normally. So it's very hard for me to change. So that was the #1 thing. If you're not on Medium and you enjoy writing, get on there. Now, is it worth your time? If you don't like writing, you could find other avenues that will suit you better. But if you're willing to hire a writer, it could turn out to be very lucrative. Ben has over 300,000 email subscribers, all that he's gathered from about a year and a half writing on Medium.com. And he's the #1 writer on Medium. So if you can imagine that, what would 300,000 email subscribers do to your business? So that's the #1 thing I learned on. If you're not already on Medium, get on there. I'm writing about an article every 7 to 10 days. So it's not going to be anything that's like crazy. It's just going to be something that I can do a little bit every day. So that's #1 thing I learned. #2 thing that I learned is that Jason Fladley, who's in my mastermind, gave me a copy of his latest book. So as you guys can see, I've read almost the whole thing. I've dog-eared a bunch of sections. And this book is on webinars. So if you do webinars in any way, shape, or form, I highly recommend you grab this book. Even if you don't and you've been thinking of doing it in your business, I recommend it. He teaches people how to do it in very unconventional businesses, which you wouldn't imagine a webinar would work. But guess what? They can. So even from a perspective of if you don't do webinars, it is a fantastic read. Jason's an excellent writer. Now, I'm not saying that just because he's my friend. I'm saying it because it's the truth. It is a fantastic book, and I've gotten many marketing tidbits from this book. So if you are a marketer and you think Jason Fladley's pretty smart, I would highly recommend this book. I think it's fantastic. It was a very easy read. It seems like it's super thick, but it's got a lot of images, a lot of examples, and I recommend this book for sure to everyone. What's the next thing? The next thing is I heard Jody Williamson talk about selling, and he's one of the main trainers at the Sandler Training, who does sales training for all sorts of different people and all sorts of different niches that are salespeople. And what he basically talked about is that one of the biggest mistakes he sees salespeople make is using or not using pain as one of the motivators. So in this particular part of the Sandler training, they talk about the line of questioning that they take when they have a potential customer or client on the phone, where they want to know more about their pain. Tell me more about that. Can you be more specific? Can you give me an example? So they're really trying to find out what is the pain, what kind of cause of pain did it have for the customer. And once they've identified these 3 pains, where they listen for these particular pain words, they start to motivate the actual customer or potential customer to want to buy something based on helping that pain in the future, the pain now, or the pleasure now and pleasure in the future. And basically, I never thought about that. So it's something that I'm now putting into my whole sales process, is trying to focus more on people's pain, trying to bring that pain out so that they're aware of it, and then show them how it could be, that's like hell, and then how it could be pleasure on the other hand. Show them how they could use some of that pain and channel it into potential pleasure while buying the whatever it is that I'm selling them. So that was pretty cool. I'm not sure how many things I'm up to. The fourth thing, I think I'm on the fourth thing, was, I'll tell you what, Genius Network pushes me. I was put in a very uncomfortable situation and it made me realize a lot of things. So I had been, talking to people, people asked my opinion on a couple things. So I kind of laid out a little bit of my marketing strategy, which involves a lot of remarketing, retargeting, and pixels. And a lot of people who are traditional business people that are in there aren't the savviest of marketers. However, they all have very solid businesses that make millions and millions of dollars. So one of the things that really captivated them was the way that I'm using remarketing and retargeting. As a result of that, Joe Polish, who is the leader of Genius Network, asked me if I could deliver a 10-minute talk. 10-minute talks are usually something that gets practiced out for months ahead of time. But he asked me if I could deliver a 10-minute talk on the topic. So I had literally an hour and a half to prepare. I prepared, I got my speech together. I was super damn uncomfortable, guys. I was like shitting bricks, literally. And I had to go up there and speak in front of all these business leaders and thought leaders. Dave Asprey is one of the people that's in this group. Charles Poliquin, a lot of big time names. Craig Ballantyne, Bedros Keuilian, the list goes on. And I basically killed it. Can you imagine that? In fact, I killed it so much that Joe Polish asked me to speak at the end of the year Genius annual event, which is a huge honor. The people that have spoken there in the past are Tony Robbins, Randy Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg's sister, Naveen Jain. Those are the kinds of people that are speaking there. And I get to speak there at the end of the year because of the brilliant performance that I put on. But it goes to show I was extremely uncomfortable, which is a lesson in itself. And that lesson is when you start to do something that's brand new or something that you don't know what the result's going to be, it's fucking scary. In fact, it's downright uncomfortable. So you get put in a lot of those situations in life and you're either going to step up and take the challenge or you're going to say, I can't do this, Joe, because I can't come up with something in 2 hours. So I just said, fuck it, I'll do it. What's the worst that could happen, right? Yeah, I could be embarrassed in front of all these great people, but is that really so bad? They all know that I only had 2 hours to prepare. So I got up there, guys, and I freaking hammered it. I killed it, and now I have a huge, huge chance to get up there and nail it again. But this time, I'm going to be rehearsed. So that's exciting, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And finally, the last thing that I learned is if you're not out there networking already, you better get out there and do it, guys. Life is going to pass you by. And I get to talk about all these tremendous people. I get to have interviews with people like Alex Mayer, Ty Lopez, and all sorts of people like that. And people always wonder why. Well, guess what? It's because I put myself out there. I get in those uncomfortable situations and I just own them. Life's only going to give you so many shots. You might as well take them when you're young because they're not always going to be there. And when you're old, you're going to regret that you didn't take that shot. So at the end of the day, get out there today, take some of those shots. I will link you guys to my first Medium article. Hopefully it motivates you to get uncomfortable and take some shots where you normally wouldn't take them. Get out there and network, and I will see you guys on the next video. Again, questions or comments, put them below. I'll be more than happy to personally answer them. Until next time, guys, get out there, get some shit done, and get uncomfortable, for crying out loud. See you later.